Hello everyone. So today is the 11th, I don't know what the date is, I'll put it on the screen, of March, and I've been feeling like my iron levels are low again. So I phoned the doctor last night and said, look, I'm worried I'm anemic again. I don't feel as bad as I did before. I feel like it's getting low and I am still bleeding because the tablets aren't working. There's a surprise. So she put me in for a blood test this morning. So I went this morning and it was an emergency one, urgent one or whatever it's called. So I went through that, got the results back. Here's John. Hello, you got it?
Yep.
Sorted.
Sorted.
Vlogging, John. And yeah, so the doctor phoned me and was like, how are you feeling? And I was like, oh, well, not as bad as last time, but I've got like feeling out of breath, all this kind of thing. And she said, well, it's hemoglobin 68. And in January I had a blood transfusion, it was 65. And it's supposed to be like around the 130 mark.
You're actually better than you were then. I mean, that's 3 points up. Could be worse.
Yeah, honestly, I don't feel as bad as I did before. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to under-exaggerate. But yeah, anyway. So the doctor's like, you need to go to the hospital. So she's phoned the gyno ward. We did as well. They said for us to go to A&E, but they've told her for me to go straight there. But it closes
in 40 minutes.
in 40 minutes.
And it's 24 minutes to get there, and then got to get there.
Shush. Sorry, John just likes to catastrophise everything and panic me at every available opportunity during this whole experience. So anyway, ignore him. So whether we end up in A&E or gyno eventually, I don't know. But anyway, we're on our way there now. We had to pick up a letter from the doctors so that we don't get bounced back or whatever. It's telling them that she has said that I need this, whatever. So yeah, we're back on our way to our favourite place, Derby Hospital. And I'm probably going to end up having another blood shot. Are you right there? Some kind of music in your head?
Yeah.
We're in a quiet room, apparently, waiting for a doctor, aren't we?
Well, we are, but you're talking, so it's not quiet.
So, yeah, we're on our own in here. Exciting room.
It's not as nice as the nose room. The nose room was better.
Yes, that was very well coordinated. See last vlog.
Yeah.
So I've got another story time for you, as that escalated rather quickly, as you probably gathered. I came back home yesterday afternoon. I was so happy. I literally was straight in the shower, scrubbed everything, all the clothes that I had in the hospital, went straight in the wash, and I had a nap then, and then I slept like a log last night, which unfortunately meant that this morning the blood had leaked everywhere, but at least I caught up some sleep, right? When I got admitted to hospital Wednesday night, I was put on my first unit of blood, and that went on through the night. They had to put the cannula in, one moment. They had to put the cannula, because I was struggling to find a vein. Right here, you can see there's a little spot thing where it was. And that meant that it came across here where the bone is. So whenever they put like the flush in, or first put in the blood, or I also had a drip of tranexamic acid, I could feel it go past the bone, and honestly, it gives you the shudders. It's like that feeling when you get nails down a blackboard. It's like that. It's like, oh, and like I keep thinking about it now and going, oh, like it was just a horrible, horrible feeling. That was like the worst thing about the whole process, I think. In the end, after seeing the doctor Wednesday morning, I had 4 units of blood. So this year alone, bearing in mind that it's only mid-March, I have had 6 units of blood. So whether any of the blood that's currently in my system is actually my own originally, I'm not entirely sure, but here we are. I was also put on a drip of tranexamic acid, which I've spoken about before, that's supposed to stop the bleeding. It did the first time many moons ago when I had it, but it doesn't now. But they gave me a drip of it anyway, even though I told them. And I had 3 drips, I think, of that as well. And I've also now got some tablets for a few days to take, 2 tablets 3 times a day. For I think it's 4 days. Though I've just had a look because I've just got some more to have with this tea, and I'm like, that isn't 4 days worth because this is the first day and that isn't going to last me another 3 days, but whatever. And they've also given me these other tablets that have a really long name, that has progesterone in them, in the name and in the actual tablets, obviously, acetate. And I've got to have that 1 tablet 3 times a day for the foreseeable future. And also, while I was there, I had an injection in my bum. It's like, I think it's bruised because every so often I'd like lean on it and I'm like, oh. Anyway, so I've got to have that once every 4 weeks. The GP has to do that for me, so I'll have to phone the GP this week some point and get everything sort of sorted on that level as well, because I think it'll just be a nurse who does it. But as you know, if you're in the UK with the NHS, you have to book appointments really early, otherwise you will not get them. In total, I spent 2 nights and 2 days in the hospital. I came back yesterday afternoon, which is Friday, and yeah, I didn't like it. It was not for me. I can't imagine it's really for anyone. But you know, I'm an introvert. I find it hard sort of asking for things. I just try to be like really quiet and keep to my own thing, if you know what I mean. And all the nurses and everything were really lovely, but obviously it was noisy because it's a hospital, so there's people coming backwards and forwards. To be fair, at night we didn't really have anyone because it's a gyno ward. We're not like a emergency ward, is where you go afterwards. So we didn't have, it wasn't woken up in the night with that, but obviously they did wake me up in the night to do my obs and stuff, but also because I had the blood transfusion. So the other night I was literally had the blood transfusion in, and I worked out really well how to like sleep with it because I was just so tired because I barely slept the night before while I was there. So yeah, one night that night I woke up and I'd been they'd taken the pole that the blood was hanging off and put it on a hook. I didn't know any of this happened. Someone had come in, moved the curtain, come in, done all this, and I had not woken up. I had no idea. There was another time the night before, I must have fallen asleep for like the minimum amount of time. I must have been literally dead to the world because I was disconnected from the they disconnected me from the blood transfusion because it finished. So like there was nothing on the pole and I wasn't attached to anything. Like that just blows my mind because usually I'm a pretty light sleeper, but that was flipping crazy. Anyway, obviously now that I'm back at home, I'm very happy and I feel better, but not well. So the blood transfusions take a while to properly work into your system. So obviously I have colour back, my heart rate's not going 90 miles an hour. I'm still, I think the thing I've noticed the most is I'm still puffed out. This happened before because obviously with not enough blood, there's also not enough oxygen. So my body's trying to use as much of the oxygen, the little amount they've got, to make my body function. So that's why you get breathless and things like that. So I'm not getting dizzy at the moment either when I stand up, which is good. So I do feel a lot better, but I still don't feel well, if that makes sense. I don't look like a ghost anymore. I'm more back to my normal colour, which is brilliant. Though I don't think I was anywhere near as pale as I was the first time. I can't believe this time that my haemoglobin was down to 68 and before it was 65, because I didn't feel well, but I felt so much better than I did at 65, but there's only a few numbers difference. So that's just bizarre. But yeah, they were like, oh God, you know, when I saw it was 68, you must be feeling really rough. And I was like, no, not really. I don't know whether I've just got used to it, because I think as well with the iron, it goes down. I think there was a bit of a jump when I broke my nose, was the start. And then a week later, I had a big loss of blood again. And I think that's what brought it down, because that's when I wasn't feeling right from. And then obviously because I've still been bleeding, it's still been going down. But because of that, it's a gradual process. So you gradually feel worse and worse. So I think if, you know, one day I was fine and the next day I wasn't, I'd notice there was something wrong a lot more and a lot quicker, but it's more difficult when it's just so gradual. But I think I'm going to do a video on anemia and the blood transfusion, because I think it's important to know about it, because I didn't really know. The only person I know who's had a blood transfusion is my mum, and that was 40 years ago when she gave birth to me. Like, you don't really hear much about it, so I think I'll probably do a video on that. and also do a video on fibroids, because that looks like that is what the problem has been all along. If you watch my previous videos, then you know that I had a procedure where they put a camera, and I've also in my uterus, and I've also had an internal scan to have a look in there to see what could be causing this constant bleeding. So they thought they saw a polyp in the scan. Then when I had the camera, it didn't, from what I remember them telling me, they didn't see it. They didn't see a polyp, but both times they saw a fibroid, and they called it a sizable fibroid. I think it's about 3 to 4 centimetres wide or whatever. And also they took biopsies of my uterus just to check for cancer. So I haven't had the results back from the biopsy, as in I haven't had a letter and there's nothing on my NHS app, but apparently the hospital have it. So while I was there, they told me that actually the biopsies they took more than one, because they found the polyp again. I think the polyp's not in the uterus. So obviously with the camera, they were looking specifically in the uterus. But with the scan, they obviously had to go in. So they saw beforehand and inside and everything as well. So when they did the biopsy, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically the polyp seems to be there. But they took a biopsy of it, it's not bleeding, and all the biopsies came back clear. So that's obviously really good, and I'm very pleased about that. So the conclusion is the fibroid is the problem. They are very common, fibroids, especially as you get older, and they can be treated in several ways. So the doctor went through with me. He was really good actually, because I'd already heard the options of this. We'd already done research, because it was looking like it was a fibroid. As soon as they told me, I did research into fibroids. I'd obviously heard of them, but I don't know. I know they're quite common. A lot of women do have them. That they're not always a problem. Sometimes they're very small or whatever. Again, I'll do a video on it, I think, to explain it properly and get more information about it out there, so that more of us women are aware about it. But yeah, so it was looking at the fibroid as a problem anyway, and he gave me 3 options. So 3 options I had. This isn't necessarily options that other people have. It's going to depend a lot on your age, the size and that of the fibroids, all these things. But basically the 3 options he gave me was hormone treatment, which is what I have been doing. That's what all the tablets are to stop the bleeding. Some of them work to start off with, but then they stop working, or they just don't work at all from the beginning. So obviously hormone treatment for me isn't useful. So getting things like a coil, I'm like, that's hormone still. That's probably not going to help me, but it helps a lot of other women is getting a coil. So anyway, so that was option 1. The second option is you could shave the fibroid away. My problem with that is, and they agreed as well, it can grow back. So obviously if you're younger and maybe want to start a family soon or whenever, then you may choose to have the fibroid shaved, for instance, because obviously a lot of the hormone treatment is contraception, and if you're wanting to try for a child, you might not want to do the contraception route, and getting it shaved would help with like your fertility levels and things like that, because fibroids do affect fertility. And the third option was to get a hysterectomy. Now that is where I thought we were going with this. I thought that was the best solution for me, for my age, where I am in my life, and all those kind of things. And luckily for me, the doctor also agreed and said he thinks that that is the best option. Because it's the NHS, obviously, there is quite a long waiting list. That is the downside of getting, I suppose, free. And we do pay for it because we pay national insurance, taxes and stuff. But obviously we don't have the insurance and all that you have in like the US. And I don't know what the rest of the world does, to be completely honest with you. I mean, do you have the NHS? I think Malta has an NHS, doesn't it? I don't know how you guys work. But anyway, that's how we work. So obviously there can be quite a long waiting list. So he's put me on urgent. And also because I'm self-employed, I can just kind of go whenever. So if one gets cancelled or whatever, I'll be able to I can go in on those ones as well. Not just, you're going to have your surgery in 3 months and then obviously have to have a certain time, off work or whatever, and have to organise that. I don't have to do that. So that's really good. So hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. But basically it's 3 to months to a year. So I'm really hoping it's not going to be a year. If it's taken too long, we may go privately. We're very lucky because we've got a lot of family. My parents, John's parents, John's second parents, his godparents. all willing, as well as us, to put money towards getting it done privately if I need to. But I'm going to try and get it on the NHS. I don't want to borrow all that money off people. Like, it's a lot of money, isn't it? And I don't really want to do that. If I can get it done in the NHS, I would rather do that. But obviously, if it's getting quite a few months down the line, and say I've been back in hospital again, have another blood transfusion because the hormone treatment is still not working, then obviously I will seriously consider going privately. I am actually quite excited about my uterus out because it's the most uterus organ in my entire body, let's be honest. The injections that I'm having every 4 weeks is an injection that basically puts me in a fake menopause. So despite being 40, I don't think I've gone into the perimenopause or started the perimenopause yet. I know quite a few people around my age have. It's common because you usually have the perimenopause about 10 years before you go through the change in the actual menopause, which is obviously around 50, 51. So yeah, I'm going to be putting in a fake menopause, which means I'm going to have menopausal symptoms all of a sudden. So I'm going to have maybe it happens all of a sudden anyway, I don't really know. So I've started doing research into menopause because, I know bits and bobs. I've started looking at it because I know, friends who have started the perimenopause and things, and there's a lot of information around now than there used to be, when my mum was going through it or whatever. So I'm going to properly do some research into it, how to sort of look after your body and everything, and make it just a bit nicer, I suppose, in the transition, because I don't know how it's going to affect me, obviously. Some people, common symptoms like increased anxiety, but I don't know whether I'll notice that because I have medication for anxiety and I'm used to having that. So I may not notice that, but you can get things like mood swings and hot flushes, which none of them sound pleasant, and also ain't John lucky. And I think further down the line, they are probably going to give me HRT to help with those, because when I have the injections and then when I have my uterus taken out, they're going to take the fallopian tubes out as well, but they're going to leave the ovaries, which is crucial because the ovaries apparently if you take them out, it makes the menopause symptoms more worse. Bad English, make it worse. So not taking them out if you don't have to. Obviously, some people you need to take them out. It's good. It's helpful. Helps the process and things. So that's one good thing. But yeah, I'm actually not worried about the surgery. It's major surgery. It's keyhole surgery, so it's less invasive. It's a quicker recovery time, but obviously it's a major organ still, even though mine's useless. So it's a couple of months or so recovery time and things like that. But my body does recover quite well and respond usually to medication, tablets and stuff. It's just this is the first time that it hasn't. I think, guys, now that you are up to date, I finally give you the results of all the tests that I promised a while ago, but then got diverted because of the broken nose. As you can see, my nose is now straight. As you saw in the last video, this bruising and stuff has gone down so much. I think I've got some swelling here, or a bit of my nose isn't completely straight, but I'm not too worried about that either way. So I'm going to wait a bit and see if we're told to wait a bit as well to see if it all go down, because it's not even been a week since I got that straightened. What a week have I had? Monday I got this straightened, and then Wednesday I was in hospital. Can't make this. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you're finding it interesting and maybe slightly eye-opening, this little series that I'm doing. I'm obviously going to carry on taking you with me. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the hysterectomy is the next thing that's going to happen, or I'm going to get back in hospital with another blood transfusion before that. Who flipping knows? I don't know. But I'll keep you guys updated. I am feeling, as I said, much better now. So I'm just really pleased to be home, to be honest. That's all I can say. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.